as US is investigating the national security concerns raised by the Chinese AI model called DeepSeek R1. You need to right now download it and implement in 3 ways before it's too late and it gets banned. But first, let me tell you the truth of bloodbath that DeepSeek R1 gave to the US economy. And on the other hand, people are more optimistic rather than pessimistic about the model. For example, if you see, as VCs are more excited by the possibility that R1 might motivate US based companies to innovate faster, even the Y Combinator CEO Gary wrote 1,000 flowers will bloom from this shakeup. Even Subhan, an ex Nvidia engineer, said Nvidia's competition isn't DeepSeek and it isn't other chips either. It's the status quo. Make something even cheaper and consumption tends to go way up. The same will happen here. AWS, Microsoft, Google all are trying to implement on their cloud providers as soon as possible. So it's going to be more democratized and more people will be building on the application side, and it's going to be so much cheaper to build as many apps as possible. And the biggest profitable company you can see right now is Apple, which invested the least in hardware and will profit the most because it is actually going to use the fruit which has already riped from the investments of hundreds of billions of dollars. And you guys need to have more optimism and curiosity for AI. Even if you look at the keynote that happened last year, GTC Nvidia got more views. It got 27 million views as compared to the Apple WWDC. Interest for Apple, the consumer devices, was way less than Nvidia GPUs. Even the iPhone event had 26 million views as compared to the Nvidia GPU. So watch out for GTC coming this year as well and have more curiosity for AI and GPUs. Now, with that being said, the number one thing you need to do right now is have more curiosity and start reading more about AI, because while reading the DeepSeek AI paper, you will get to know that they not even implement the CUDA side of NVIDIA GPU. They actually use on a deeper level something called as assembly like PTX programming from NVIDIA. They went even deeper than CUDA. So if you are new to NVIDIA, so when you use Python to use GPU, such as libraries like PyTorch, when you are training AI models, PyTorch on a lower level uses CUDA. So most people use PyTorch or CUDA directly, but the AI engineers from DeepSeek, went even deeper, which is by using NVIDIA's assembly like PTX programming because they wanted to be as efficient as possible. Number two, they actually did distillation. By using OpenAI's existing model, they trained their own model. So this meme can easily explain that by using an existing model from OpenAI, they actually created this model, while on the other hand, OpenAI had already stolen data from the whole internet, which was not allowed in terms and conditions. And DeepSeek did the same by not following the terms and conditions of OpenAI and building their AI. And number three unique part about DeepSeek is they use reinforcement learning instead of supervised learning. If you see, most of the models we have right now by OpenAI, Claude, or even XAI, or even Google's Gemini, they are based on supervised learning. And supervised learning works on the idea that you predict the next token, but DeepSeek instead did reinforcement learning, did a lot of trials and error, and gave a pat on the back on the AI if it was giving the right answer, or slapped the AI if it was giving a wrong answer, thus improving it even further. Now, number one thing you need to do to have godlike power with DeepSeek is to first of all use it the right way. You have two options. You can use it at deepseek.com website or through Perplexity or locally. And if I show you with example, if you run it through Perplexity, click the Pro button, you will see that they are using the model hosted in the US and they have uncensored it through fine-tuning technologies. So now let's say if I ask a simple question, why DeepSeek R1 should be used locally or on Perplexity, you will realize this reasoning model is important because it gives you transparency. Whether you will be implementing AI in healthcare, whether you'll be implementing in various of applications, you will have more transparency. You will get to see how this model is thinking, and if it gets wrong at any part, you can fine tune it the way you want to. So with this transparency, you will have more godlike abilities. And I can clearly see here that while it is researching, how it is researching, what's going on in the head of this model, because it is thinking more like human and collecting all the data step by step, breaking it down for me. And at any point of time, if it does a mistake, I can figure out because it is a reasoning model. That's why it is very, very powerful. And number two, you need to do is you can even run it locally. I on my MacBook use DeepSeek R1 1.5B. If you read the research paper or just read about this DeepSeek model, you will figure out that they actually released, you will realize that DeepSeek R1 released 6 models from 1.5B to 70B. Bigger model is slower but better. Smaller model is not that good but faster. So smaller model can solve problems like translation and simple questions you have, but for math and programming and difficult questions, a bigger model is recommended. But I on my MacBook use the smallest model because with my MacBook in my plane with me at all point of time, I can ask questions such as translating that also this fast with reasoning abilities on my MacBook, which is like 4 years old MacBook. So this is very powerful, and I have a co-pilot with me at all point of time, even when I am offline. Number three thing you need to do is go to Visual Studio Code and use this extension called continue. With that, you can actually here select the model and select an offline model like Llama or DeepSeek R1, which I have installed on my MacBook, and you can chat with the chatbot. For example, I generated binary search. I can literally click this button and it pastes in my file. So I can literally have a co-pilot locally running on my MacBook. And this is powerful once again because it thinks step by step. So at any point of time you don't like the answer of AI, you can figure out where it went wrong and you can write a better prompt easily. And last, most importantly, what you need to do is go out, experiment, build things, build as many applications as possible, and fine tune. To fine tune, what you can do is you can learn on, first of all, YouTube, and especially on Hugging Face, they have a transformer library with which you can fine tune the model for your own use case. You can try building your own Perplexity and uncensor DeepSeek model and see how cool it is. And these things will take you a long way. Do you know why? Because we are in a changing landscape. We have to realize that people's interests have changed as well. If you look at Nvidia's GTC, Nvidia's conference that happened last year, more people watched that than any of the Apple's conferences. Just from that, realize how much interest is there. So you have to come out of your comfort zone and bring more curiosity on the table and do these 3 to 4 changes in your life and implement this godlike abilities with reasoning and see how many magical things you can do with it, and see where AI model is failing to think, in which step, and you will realize you also think like that. And more you have these conversations on difficult problems in your life, more likely you will be able to fix them. So that'll be it. I hope this video helps you out. Get started with DeepSeek as soon as possible, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.